So we have the mind, the body, and the soul. Somewhere there's got to be emotions in there. I guess we consider those to be the heart. The mind, body, the soul, and the heart. Mental toughness is good to be resilient. The male mind, when men think there's one light in the one nerve cluster in the brain that lights up really bright when and it'll be in the portion of the brain that's doing the thinking. When women think, they have many lights light up in their minds because they have many considerations, and that difference between the genders is what makes women able to multitask, and women have twice as many nerve endings on their skin, the surface of their body, which makes somehow leads to the man cold being a real thing. It just is. We're not as strong in the resilience way. Our mind will be focused probably on the symptoms, whereas the women will have the same cold, but their mind is still lit up in 12 to 14 different places. So only a 12th of their focus is on that feeling, and they still have the 11 other parts of their brain that have things they know they need to do, responsibilities and duties. So there's mind. When people feel safe, their second mind kicks in, which is the heart, which is 65% neural cells or nerve cells or brain cells. So the heart is a second brain. There's books written about this. This is science. So when the sympathetic nervous system kicks in, the heart turns off. The heart mind turns off, and the reptilian mind, the survival mind, called the reptilian part of the brain, the primitive survival, kicks in. When the danger passes, or when there's a feeling of safety, even if there is a perceived danger or threat out there, which there always is in the world, yet we find ways to relax and yeah, that's where the magic happens. And that's why last night I couldn't function in the realm of love. Not that I didn't want to. She was right in front of me. I just couldn't. It was nice of her to, at least. It was nice of them to at least be there. So I'm grateful for that. For them. So that's the nervous system and the heart. They say always trust your gut, so you got your stomach is a good indicator of a lot of things. I actually thought I was being, and I don't say this lightly or happily, I actually thought I was being fed Ella's blood or adrenochrome in some way, shape, or form when she lived here, because one time she came upstairs when nobody was here, and my stomach, I bent over, like doubled over, like yeah. I guess that's clear already. That was a interesting chapter of life. It's interesting that Trump conducted the wedding back in July, August, early August, but I didn't see him until after the wedding last night, 2 nights ago. So what else? The spiritual and the physical. This video I'm watching, the Nut and Fancy 20. It's called 2020 Tactically Squared Away.
I'll take a guy who is physically fit, who is mentally tough, armed with a savage axis with a $40 3x9 bushel scope, and his pistol is a used to surplus Makarov as my team member, before I'll take someone with a bunch of whiz-bang tactical crap that doesn't have any of those attributes. That guy's tactically squared away, even though his weapons, a lot of people look at them, he's not really a threat. Oh, he's a threat. He's a threat. All we're doing from this point on is improving our situation. All we're doing from this point on is improving our warfighting capability by small increments. I'm being honest.
What was his name? Grigory. Somehow. Lady Somerset Belanov's niece or grandson or something. No, grandfather. Rasputin. I can relate with Rasputin, but somehow he kept sleeping with people's wives. And eventually, he was, and they tried to kill him a bunch of times. And the funny thing is, when they finally killed him, they burned the body. But when they burnt the body, he sat up on fire, scared the crap out of them. In a time of, I see the pandemic as both not real, and a physical war that's being covered for with 22 states have the National Guard out. That's always been code for rioting, looting, problems, war. So I believe it's happening, but I don't at the same time. the same time, I feel like we're at the end of the world. And that the physical, he's talking about the physical war. I don't know where I am. Jadwiga says I've done more than I know. I know that I've fought a lot. Not in the physical, not in my physical world. I don't know what world. Nietzsche said when you fight monsters, make sure you don't become one. But after fighting a lot of monsters, I came to a conclusion a while ago that some of them became my wives and my lovers, my wives. Some I don't have any information on, really, so I don't know. But these are like the most fearsome, one of the most fearsome beings I could have more fearsome than I could have ever comprehended. And then just by observing our relationship and her, Somerset Belanoff, who's running the reset, a lot of the economic reset, her and her daughters, or Sophia and her daughters, are both separately not the same, as far as I know. These are separate women with separate tasks and such. I wonder sometimes how many men tried to, I've heard of the Order of the Quest. I don't really know who they are or what they were trying to do, but I feel like she's whatever the goddess, the heart of women, of womandom. Is fierce, almost like is a warning of how much they love, you know. Are you sure you want this much love? And that's kind of how I feel, you know. That's why I was upset last night. Probably why I threw up in my sleep. But the mental toughness in the physical world he's talking about, or the physical toughness in the physical world he's talking about, I am far from having. I think I could. I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure if I could ever gain it back in this world. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure. But everything we're talking about is in the in-between world. The spiritual world, I do seem to believe, is run by women. Run by women, I don't know. It's unnerving when you think about if you think of each person as being a world. Now you have a solar system of stars. It's unnerving, though, I think. I don't know why. Although at the same time I say that, didn't we start with Sirius, Isis, Ishtar, and then Zeus, and then Orion? So that portion of the sky, Project Looking Glass, the stars looking down on Earth, Earth looking at the stars, talking with the stars, which are talking with Earth. It's a reflection, the feedback loop, Tesla tech stuff. There's an old cartoon of Earth sending out a radio signal, and that radio signal is the Schumann resonance, the Earth's heartbeat, which connects to our minds, and our minds have to be that much stronger. Like, why did I want to be the strongest signal? To create a secondary heart for the Earth? So I wanted to make more men think like him. To be a well-balanced person, mind, body, spirit, emotions, spiritually, soul, your belief system, people who share your views or values. My duality is love and war, and I spent a lot of time on war, and an increasingly large amount of time on love. I don't need to get into the cosmic slop of it all. Though Felicia was making a point of some sort. She said, "Now that I have everyone's attention," and I was thinking, I haven't seen anyone. I don't know who you're talking to. But this whole situation with the economic reset reminds me of Somerset Belanoff saying, "Dissent has been noted." There's an aspect of all that which is painful for me. Not that my pain is important or interesting. I guess they were time travelers, or part of the they that are creating my future, and the aspects of which I may not have a lot of control of. I don't need to get into that now, though. I don't want to. Was a friend I thought a friend from another life. You kind of opened my eyes to the idea of Jacob's ladder being eternal life. Jacob's ladder that nobody really necessarily dies. They just move somewhere else and continue living and learning and loving. I guess looking at it like that, looking at him like that, makes it easier to say this. His girlfriend fell in love with me, and I didn't know until, I guess she was the first person to summon me. I was sleeping 40 miles away, and she took a picture. We'd been there the night before together. She took a picture and I was there, and that picture of Somerset Belanoff with the two red orbs in her hands. That's how I looked in that photo. It was me as Thoth and Odin and something pretty fierce on my right shoulder, and a portal or a vortex or a time machine is my abdomen. And then October 22nd, 2017, I got that bite, and it felt like 2 stars were put into my stomach. That hurt really, really bad. Felt like dying when the bite happened. That hurt really, really bad. For months, until I found Jadwiga. Until she found me. Hurt really, really bad. In that 5 or 10 minutes. But afterwards, for months, sore. So sore. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't know who had done it. It was very difficult. But Jadwiga stuck around like a soldier, like a warrior, and won me over. And that's how we ended up here, ultimately. Actually, while being bitten and whatnot, on the 22nd, we flew to this house. Yeah, I said we. This house that we're in now. So, in Somerset Belanoff's holding those, she's either looking at heaven or she's looking at red Satan, the devil. I've seen 2 pictures of her with those. And one she's looking at the stairway to heaven, and one she's, I guess, looking at me. And I don't know if she's trying to protect the world from me or me from the world, or, but she looks like she loves me. She doesn't look scared of me. As much as there were somewhere in some world. I guess they're all one world. You know, it was great talk about what a truly horrible person I might be. Really, nobody felt like that more than I did, I think. I didn't have any frame of reference and a lot of baggage. Turned out that baggage went to the beginning of time. So maybe everyone goes through what I'm going through, and maybe it's my job on the team. So I hope to get my physical health back, but my energy, my energetic body, my soul body, I can fly pretty good when need be. After landing, sometimes I had problems with my legs and my equilibrium, my balance, physically walking, and the sound of a rattlesnake, which strangely reminded me of my bite. Maybe it's not strange at all. I'm going to say discontent is at the heart of progress. I do the best I can. This is the best I can do right at this point. Everyone seems to be on quarantine in the world and isolated since June of 2018 when we moved here. I've been that isolated. It reminds me of that movie, Looking for a Home at the End of the World. So hopefully we can all make some kind of peace. Maybe Yadviga's my female side. That's a pretty fearsome concept. Why just her? It's a good point. Well, I'm getting tired and weak, so I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna call it spiritual and physical. I think that sums this up pretty well. If we all live in virtual reality, then our souls are our bodies now. Not only do we not have a reason to move our physical body, but when we can't go outside, we can't go anywhere. So let's make love a lot. When the spirit moves you, you'll know. We felt like a little bit of a train wreck today, but that's okay. It's not important. We all feel that way sometimes. Thank you.